never happened. Usually the system works so that the corporate officer or the CAO will ensure that resolutions are tracked, and then it's brought to the attention of council, or usually the mayor first. So I'm not sure what happened.
So just to be clear, $700,000 was never recovered, and another $921,000 has just been added in a similar way. So if the bylaws change to accommodate this process, what's the point of having gone to all that trouble to develop the charter and bylaws? And what's that look like going forward?
Well, I guess it depends on how they shape the bylaw. I mean, the previous council basically apportioned the majority of the almost 2 million, or the 1.5 million, or whatever it ends up being, the amount that's now being spent for this year. They apportioned the majority to all of Bowen Island. So whether they will decide that will be what they put in the bylaw, and I know their argument or their reasoning behind that, and the financial officer's reasoning was that this was partly the island plan that basically supports the fact that the islanders want Snug Cove to be the center. And I do acknowledge that there's probably some sound reasoning for providing some portion of that sewer money to be paid by Bowen taxpayers, but not the majority. There are a lot of residences, Kates Hill, I'm not even sure the whole boundary area, but definitely all the Kates Hill homes, and some of the ones along Miller Road that may join. But there are also things like the community center, the health center, the fire hall. And, I think that, there's probably some portion of that sewer that probably justifies having all Bowen Islanders pay, because we benefit from those amenities. But I don't think we should be paying for any private residences, and we shouldn't be paying the majority. And that's what's happened with the previous council. And of course, the previous council completely forgot about the $721,000 that was already paid in 2010, and that's never been paid back.
So what could a remedy look like?
Well, I think Tim Misko mentioned this as a possibility, referring to the amount that each one of us who owns a single family residence outside of the sewer area, we pay for our own septic field, our septic tanks, our regular maintenance of those things. He cited the figure of 35 to 40,000 for that. I think it's actually higher now. But the reasoning might be, okay, let's look at all the individual family residences, and maybe they should be taxed to the point of $40,000 a lot. I mean, to me, that's not unreasonable. That's what I have to pay if I need a new septic field. They're being hooked up to the sewer, or they are hooked up to the sewer. And I think, obviously, you don't want to say 40,000 this year, but you can spread it out. Eagle Cliff, for example, in the water district that I'm in, is spreading out will be spreading out the cost. The suggestion from the municipality has been we join with Snug Cove Water, which is going to be very costly and probably will be in the range of $30,000 to $40,000 per lot. So we're not looking for other islanders to help pay for that. And I think the Snug Cove Sewer should be the same. And that might be a starting point, that the new council certainly can look at the money that's already been spent or is being spent on the upgrade and treat it as a loan, which is loan authorization bylaws are done all the time, and the financial officer knows about that. And then you basically ensure that loan is paid back over time. So you're not, as a property owner in Kates Hill, saddled with a bill of $40,000. You are just paying a certain amount every year to help pay back that loan.
So I'm not a lawyer, and I've never sat on council. So I'm curious, at the time of becoming a municipality, was there anything further that deals with local service areas?
Yes, definitely. If one goes back to the history of why we became a municipality, we are the only island municipality within the Islands Trust. So we're still in the Islands Trust, but obviously, as a result of becoming a municipality in 1999, a lot of the services were then transferred from the Islands Trust and from the GVRD, Greater Vancouver Regional District, now Metro Vancouver, to the municipality. And any funds that were within those pots in which they operated, for example, the sewer, district was its own little sewer district in Snug Cove. The Metro Vancouver had its own pot for that sewer district. And at the time we became a municipality, it was transferred to that sewer district. And the bylaws were then put in place in order to ensure that the users pay. But in addition to what happened when we became a municipality, it's useful to look at how we became a municipality. In 1991, the referendum vote was 64% against becoming a municipality. So you look, then 8 years later, after much consideration and much information sharing, there was another vote in 99. And as part of that campaign, a group of islanders who basically formed the Bowen Island Restructure Study Group, or they arranged with a consultant to provide a report on what are the effects, what are the impacts of becoming a municipality. And one of those impacts, which was clearly set out in one of the reports that was distributed at the time, and the intention in that report was to ensure people had the information so they could make a clear decision about whether to vote for the municipality or not. And the report deals with both sewer and water, and emphasized in the report, and again, a reminder, this information was intended for people to understand what would happen once we became a municipality. And they give us an example: the same properties which now pay taxes for the sewer system would continue to be the only ones paying for it after a municipality is created. So this report came out, people used that information to cast their vote. And in the end, in 99, the vote was in favor of becoming a municipality. And as a result of that, the provincial government then issued what are called letters patent, which is basically just like a proclamation declaring Bowen to be a municipality. And that document also includes clear information, very specific information about the service areas, the water service areas, and the Snug Cove Sewer, and that they will be entities that will now be run and controlled by the municipality, but they will continue. And the pots of money that were in there will continue to be used for the users of each water district and each sewer system district. There's only the one. And they will then be responsible for paying for maintenance, upgrades, etc. So that was in the document declaring us to be a municipality, that this continued to be the situation because people were concerned. For example, as I say, I live in Eagle Cliff, and the Eagle Cliff Water District had a pot of money, and the pot of money was to be used for ongoing maintenance and upgrades. And that pot of money, although it's under the control of the municipality, has always been understood to be the property of the residents of Eagle Cliff who use the water, and the same with the sewer. The pot of money that went to the sewer district in Snug Cove was to be used for them.
So for those people that voted to become a municipality based on the things that we've talked about, how do you think they feel now?
Well, cheated. As a resident, as I say, of the island who lives in a water district that funds itself and is looking at some big upcoming costs that hopefully will be spread over several years, I feel like I should not be funding the residents who benefit from Snug Cove Sewer, because I'll also, apart from the water, I'll also be looking at the upgrades to my septic system. And I think that quite simply, it's contrary to the bylaw, which we've discussed, and Brad certainly raised that. And so just changing the bylaw, to me, yes, the municipality has the ability to change bylaws and to amend bylaws. They have to follow a full process if they're going to do that. But to change the bylaw now, given our history, I think is simply unfair. We became a municipality on clear information provided as to how things would work. And oh, no, we've decided that's not the way we want things to work. And so I think it's quite frankly very unfair to the Bowen Island taxpayer who does not live in Snug Cove.
So what we've heard from Tim, Brad, and Nerys is that at the time of incorporation, people were intensely concerned about maintaining the autonomy of their local service areas that stipulate a use-your-pay system. So much so that it was a condition for their agreement to become a municipality. The recent Ombudsperson resolution acknowledges that amending the establishment bylaw would align with the decision to use general public funding for the Snug Cove wastewater treatment plant, and who knows what else in the future. But that doesn't seem to be the community's sense of fairness, as a use-you-pay autonomy of local service areas is baked into our identity as a municipality. That's another episode of the Bone Island Podcast. Thanks to Tim Misko, Brad Hawthorn, and Nerys Poole for joining us. We asked Muni staff, but they were unavailable. The Bone Island Podcast is available monthly on your favorite podcasting platform. Sound designs by John Massacre, musics by Jason Shaw. Our gratitude to the Coast Salish nations of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh, on whose traditional territories we're able to do this work. Thanks for listening. I'm Don Schaefer.